Competing in jiu-jitsu can be an anxious experience, especially if you have no plan on the feet or you have a one-dimensional game on the feet that's predictable. I'm gonna give you a really simple system to work from if this is your first competition or if you just don't have any real A game to work from on the feet. Now, before we get started, there's a lot of content out there and you might be thinking, if this is your first time on the channel, who am I? I'm Coach Adam with Wrestling University, and this is an entire channel to share the gift of wrestling with the world. And our first step in doing that is to make you, the jiu-jitsu practitioner, fearless on your feet. I am a two-time undefeated folk style state champion, folk style national runner-up, five-time freestyle state champion, one-time Greco-Roman state champion. In the year that was the only year I competed in Greco, and I actually beat the kid who took second in the country that year. I went on to wrestle for Central Michigan University, where we were ranked second in the country the year before I attended, the year that I was recruited. And then the first year that I started, we were ranked fifth in the country, and we're consistently a top 5 program. And this is in the Division I in the United States. So folk style American wrestling produces more UFC champions than any other style of fighting, any other style of wrestling for that matter. I know the Dagestanis get a lot of attention and I think it's deserved, but by the numbers, it's not even close. American folk style wrestling produces by far the highest number of champions. It's extremely high level of wrestling. America as a country places in the top 3 in the world in Olympic championships year after year after year. And in the country of America, being one of the top countries in the world, the Midwest, it's without argument the hotbed of wrestling in the United States. So we're in Michigan right now, where I was born and raised, and this is where I grew up and learned to wrestle. This is one of the hotbed meccas of one of the highest levels of wrestling in the entire world, okay? So you're in good hands is what I'm trying to say. We know wrestling around here. In the South, it's football. Other areas of the country, they focus on other sports. In the Midwest, we love to wrestle, okay? So again, really well-rounded perspective, having championships, state-level championships in all 3 major styles of wrestling. So we're gonna start with everything in mind, leg attacks in mind, upper body in mind, defense in mind, by creating this one simple tie. So when you start the match, we slap bump. I have whole entire videos on how to do your stance. So if you need to figure out your stance, go ahead and click this video here and then come back and start at this point. So right after we start, what I'm looking to do is get a hold of that wrist. I don't care what his stance is, whatever your lead leg is, that hand is gonna come out and create what we call an inside wrist grip here. Now I'm gonna frame and collar tie with my back hand, okay? In the event that he shoots or creates any kind of lower body attack, I have my hand down and in between us, and it's ready to frame. This is like a standing guard, keeping this hand between us. A lot of things on the feet are the inverse of the ground. So on the ground, we use our legs as a guard between us and our opponent. On the feet, since we're standing on our legs, we use our hands, okay? So my hand comes out, my fingers go to the inside as I grip this wrist, and my backhand is gonna weave inside. I'm not just gonna reach up and grab his collar tie, and especially not reach out, because then my opponent can just reach up and take inside space from me, okay? We're gonna learn how to wrestle from outside as well, but for now, we wanna make sure we're getting to inside space. This is our goal. So, inside wrist. I'm weaving this hand and I'm gracing his center line with my palm. In the event he reaches up for a collar tie as well, this ensures that I win the pummel game and I get to this collar tie. In sport wrestling, we're much lower, okay? But in jiu-jitsu, since we're standing up so high, this gives me mobility with my elbow to then cut him off. If he tries to pummel inside here, I can take this elbow and go way across his chest and frame. Okay? And now, once I've obtained this position, if he wants to shoot on me, he has to level change way underneath this elbow. This is a massive frame, okay? And also, so basically I'm gonna be able to read him changing that level, and I'm gonna be creating pressure with this forearm here, so it's gonna be very difficult for him to escape it to begin with because of the friction between him and my forearm, okay? So once I'm here and I'm creating this collar tie and pushing on him here, now, like I said, in sport wrestling, since we're so much lower, our chest is lower, I can't get my elbow inside as easily. I still can, but this is something that we can get away with in jiu-jitsu. We want to maximize the characteristics of our stance and use this as a frame to maintain inside position, okay? Now, in the beginning of the video, I talked about not being one-dimensional, all right? So we want to have attacks on both sides. And first things first, if I can get an easy money position, that's my number 1 prerogative. So I'm going to take his wrist and I'm going to push it between his waist, and I'm going to use my forearm to push into him. So with both arms, I'm pushing. I'm pushing his wrist and I'm pushing his forearm. Now, even someone who's wrestled or grappled for a very short amount of time, they're always gonna fight pressure with pressure. So now that I've built up all this pressure, I'm going to step back and snap him into the wrist hand. So he's pushing back into me, responding to my pressure, and I take my collar tie and snap his head into my wrist hand. Now here's where you can get a quick, cheap submission, okay? So once you've snapped him down here, collect your 5-finger grip, slip his head to the outside, off center line, and hike your wrist high, and you can get a nice quick guillotine choke from standing there. If you don't get your guillotine, you're at least in a super advantageous position in your front headlock. We're not gonna go into crazy detail off of every position. That's an entire instructional, and if you're interested in that, go ahead and check out the comments and description below. But let's get you to some advantageous positions where you could potentially end the fight or at least chain to another advantageous position. So one more time, match starts. Let's pretend like his stance is the other way, right? He's giving me, nothing changes for me. I don't have to change my stance at all. What are we identifying? Lead leg hand to that wrist. My backhand goes to the collar. Really defensively sound position that leads into high-level offensive setups. Collect the wrist, I pummel inside, I'm pushing, pushing, pushing. If at any point he tries to pummel inside himself, I cut him off with my elbow, continue to push. As soon as he gives me pressure back, I'm going to step back. Because look, if I don't step back, I'm just gonna pull his head into my chest. If I take a tiny step back with my back foot, now I have some space to then open up. And look at that space that opens up. Now I can take this head and this collar and snap it, release the wrist into my wrist hand, okay? Now once I'm here, the collar tie is gonna rotate underneath, collecting a 5-finger grip. And now I'm gonna hike my elbow low, pulling up on my hand, getting your guillotine. Now, it'd be great if we just ended every match that way, but as we know, grappling is spontaneous. We are not gonna be able to control every element of our opponent. So if we're not getting the reaction that we want, we have to have other options from there, okay? From this position, let's say for whatever reason, they're not giving us a ton of pressure, or they're just intent on staying really postured. And if he's super postured, it can be really hard to snap anyone, no matter the amount of pressure that they're giving you. So if he's being really postured from here, we're gonna chain to different opportunities. So from here, what I want you to do, guys, I can almost guarantee you they're gonna try and pummel for inside position. So as he goes to pummel and you cut him off, I want you to then lean into this collar tie, okay? I want you to push into this collar tie, and what is he gonna do? Fight pressure with pressure. He's gonna posture, slow motion. As he begins to posture, we're gonna hook and pull and lift that wrist and then step in to an underhook. Many ways to configure your underhook. We can go far lat, we can go seatbelt across the low back. For now, I just want you to go here. I want you to go right here on this shoulder, okay? And I need you to pull down on this shoulder and lift up with your elbow, especially if they're bigger and taller than you. If he starts biting down on that overhook, he can make it his own, and he can also get this cheap little lock here with the shoulder where he pulls the elbow across my center line. I prevent that by keeping my elbow high, keeping my post, hip, shoulder all in one line underneath me. And also one of the number one escapes, I see this all the time and I hear it all the time in the comments online, is that the opponent overhook guy is able to circle out of this, right? He's able to just circle out of my underhook, right? He has a much harder time doing that if I collapse my hand over his shoulder, okay? Much harder for him to do. Even if he's being completely technical, bringing his bicep to his ear, circling that out, that's the way you do that. But if I create pressure, dynamic tension, pressure down, pressure up with my elbow, pressure down with my shoulder here. Okay, now it's much harder for him to go anywhere at all. I'm sandwiching that shoulder in. And I can also just follow him, right? If he's starting to get away from me, I can just push in and follow him, okay? One of the most fun things to do on the feet, even if you're not scoring, is bully the person, push them around, transfer some of that anxiety from you to them, start taking center mat, okay? A lot of these tournaments end up being ref's decision, okay? So at least from here, even if you're not scoring, you're brand new, all right? So we want to take these small wins where we can get them. Pushing them around the mat and winning the spatial game and the pressure game plays big into the referee's eyes, okay? So we're into our underhook, and if we're able to maintain this for any length of time, okay? What we want to start looking for is a knee pick, okay? So when you start bullying this up, oftentimes it feels really vulnerable for this leg because there's nothing between him and that leg, okay? So usually he has some sort of a down block there, something to mitigate my ability to grab it. So what people will naturally start to do is start putting this leg back. They'll start protecting that leg. If you find yourself in this position, I want you to step foot to foot. So as that leg goes back, what you're gonna do is step foot to foot. Your outside foot is gonna step forward. You're gonna grab this knee, and you're pulling the knee in as you're driving the hook across. So I'm toppling his weight by throwing his upper body over his hips. Now, when you do this, I want you to stay in front of his hips, just to begin with, okay? There's other ways to finish this that I go into great detail in Taking Down Giants, the easiest way to take down a bigger opponent. It's a course. If you're interested in really developing your takedown game, check out the comments and description below. But for now, to get you started, all you have to do is hook this knee, throw, and I'm gonna run out in front, right into side control. This is great. If that knee is forward, they're almost always gonna bring this leg back. But if you go to hit this, again, we wanna remain on the theme of being dynamic, having options, and having reads and ability to chain. That's really at the core of having a successful offensive game, is being able to read reactions and chain, okay? I don't wanna get stuck or hypnotized or obsessed with one finish. So if I go to hit this and he steps this back, that means both legs are back. So the knee pick hand is gonna come back to this collar tie, and what can I do? I can snap him. My underhook side is gonna unravel as I snap, and where am I? Back to my standing guillotine, okay? So from your underhook, we're gonna bet on that leg being back, and look, if it's not, again, there's a number of things I can do with that leg. I can go body locks from here. There's a massive system that exists from the underhook, but for now, this is gonna get you started. Step to that far side leg, it goes back. That pick hand comes to the collar. With both hands, I'm snapping, okay? And as I snap, my underhook is gonna rotate down to his chin or neck, passing it to the outside and getting my quick standing submission from here, okay? And just to let you know, there's an easy underhook. You can do this whole same thing on the other side. So whistle starts, I'm bullying, stepping in, grabbing that wrist, grabbing my collar tie. Now, if he starts to pummel inside with this side, right? Even if I'm blocking him, eventually he's gonna get inside. As he pummels that inside, I'm gonna turn as he's making contact and look away and shuck from here. The inside momentum of him digging this hand inside, he's going, look where he's going. He's going forward, 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 forward. He's creating all the momentum for me. By me limiting his ability to get inside, he's charging up. He's reaching, he wants it more and more and more. He's got to fight it harder and harder and harder. So as he goes to obtain this position, as I feel him taking the position from me, I'm gonna 180. He digs inside, I turn, look away, and that hand comes right off. I do a nice little wrist exchange from here to here. If you just go 90 degrees, that hand is never coming off. That collar tie is solidified. If you go full 180, that hand comes right off. Very easy, okay? We're using position to overcome strength and size advantages, okay? That's the whole theme with grappling, and that's how your takedown game should be oriented, right? Just like your jiu-jitsu game is based on leverage and timing to overcome strength and size disparities, so should your takedown game. And that's exactly what exists in Taking Down Giants. But again, I wanna get you started here with some basics. So again, he goes to dig inside, and look at the balls of my feet. I'm rotating, I'm staying right in place, and I let the rotation of my feet create the 180 for me to then snap to this wrist, and I'm using my overtie to help then guide him forward, okay? This is called an overtie, shuck by. Some people call it a slide by or shuck by. This is technically a shuck by, okay? I'm shucking him from an overtie. And if you find yourself in an overtie, you can hit this just straight from here, okay? You don't have to be hitting this in transition. It's just one of the easiest places to hit it. Actually, one of my favorite ways to hit this is just existing in an overtie. So I'll just exist here. What I do need is some kind of pressure. So since he's not digging his hand in, he already has the inside tie, I'm just gonna push him with my head. And a lot of times, guys, when I teach this, I show me pushing in here, right? To make it obvious, I create a bigger movement. All you really need is just to lean in. I just need to push in just a bit. When I feel him pushing back, I don't need him running across the mat at me. I just need a little pressure back. And when he pushes back, I turn, look away, shuck, take the standing back position. Oftentimes when you hit this good and hard and you get a full 180, you can take them right to turtle, okay? Now from standing back, there's so many fun ways to finish from here, but a really easy way is just getting your hands locked and doing a knee pinch. So from this position, once I lock my hands, what I'm gonna do is take my far side knee and put it right over top of his knee, okay? And then I'm going to pinch my knees together. So I'm not just placing this knee on his thigh, pushing it in, I'm pinching his knees together here, okay? And then I'm gonna hang my weight. So even if he's bigger and stronger than me, he's now carrying all his weight, all of my weight, centered on one leg, and I'm carrying none. All right, so be patient in this position. Wear him out. If he maintains it, he's just wearing himself out. So from here, we got the standing back position from the shuck by, and now I'm gonna pinch this leg and hang my weight right down to turtle. From the side here, what I'm looking to do is get my hands locked, pinch, pinch. The reason I keep contact with my back leg is so I can direct our weight forward. I only have one point of contact on the mat, but that's all I need. And I'm gonna use this back post to skate and push our weight forward. Now that our weight is going forward, he's presented with what is essentially a little baby koala hugging his leg, just chilling right here. Now he's got nowhere to go but down. All right, he cannot step. Push him forward with that back leg, and now your jiu-jitsu game begins. Now, shuck buys on one side, underhooks on the other side, snap downs if they give us pressure as our first option. Let's finish this out with one crowd favorite that's really reliable, especially if they're bigger and stronger and you don't want to start going underhooks. Arm drags. Very slow, controlled arm drag as a wrist inside, head inside arm drag. Let me show you what I mean by that. So same exact position, guys. Up until this point, we've been staying out head to head from here. What I want you to do now is take your collar tie and pull ear to ear. You're gonna hear some well-meaning coaches say, never go ear to ear. Even high-level wrestling coaches will tell you never go ear to ear. Then you watch the Olympic finals, world finals, NCAA championships, and half the match is spent ear to ear. People are elbowing off, ducking, boot scoots, a ton of high-level offense from ear to ear, okay? So I'm going inside wrist, collar tie, and I'm pulling ear to ear. Now from here, this is really important. This is the first time we're introducing head position. Instead of just being ear to ear, I'm gonna turn and look into the side of his head. Tiny difference makes a huge deal in terms of positional advantages. Just do this one time. Get ear to ear with your partner and then ask them how it feels to go from here to here. It does not feel good for the defensive person, okay? Doesn't feel like they can move, doesn't feel like they have a ton of offense. The difference of this 50-50 position, it starts to go to 60-40, 70-30, 80-20, and pretty soon we're gonna go 90-10 into the back. So once you've achieved head position, we're gonna unlock the collar tie and drag high in the armpit. So high, we're basically grabbing the shoulder and tricep. I'm spiraling this arm. I haven't let go of the wrist yet. My cue to let go of the wrist is grabbing the armpit. Once I grab the armpit, I'm gonna turn and marry my outside shoulder to his shoulder here. There's dynamic pressure again. I'm pulling this arm up and into me, keeping it out front, and I'm driving my shoulder down. Once my shoulder is here, that's my cue to go far hip. From this position to finish your drag. Sometimes we just did all this work, it was nice and smooth, we got here, and he's not going down. It's like, cool, I got to this position, but I even feel like I can't let go of this, even this arm for a second to go to here. There's just too much tension. He's pulling this arm away from me, and I feel like if I let go, he's just gonna turn and face me. No problem, we're not gonna let go. We're just gonna go ahead and maintain this position, and we're gonna step inside foot to his inside foot. All I do is step here and start circling my leg away, and I keep his shoulder on my chest. I keep his tricep on my chest, and I pull, and I pull, and I pull. What I'm doing is I'm separating his chest from his hips. Look at any standing position. In order for us to stay standing, our chest has to be directly on top of our hips. If his chest isn't on his hips, he cannot stand. Okay, so from here, once I have the standing back position with my drag, I step on his foot so he can no longer follow me, his hips can no longer follow me, and then I start taking his chest out in front with my chest, and eventually he's so far spread out that he has to take turtle. So one last time with our inside wrist, inside arm drag. My head is inside, okay? There's two basic ways to drag. From here, if I want to do a head outside arm drag, I could drag to my head to the outside, right? But it's much quicker, relies on timing, athleticism. This head inside arm drag is very slow and controlled. So again, let's say slow motion, we start our match, boom, boom. Get my collar tie, get my wrist, looking into the side of his head. Now he's bigger and stronger. And also look, if he cups my elbow here and pulls my elbow into his chest, like I can't get my arm down now, right? This is very easy to beat. I'm almost hesitant to say this because nobody gets out of this position once you're in it. They don't know what to do. Even in high-level wrestling, it's so easy to get out of. I love cupping the elbow, but I'm about to ruin this position for myself. All you have to do is straighten your arm. From here, if I can't get my arm out to drag, all I have to do is straighten my arm and then rotate it down. The reason he can cut my elbow is because my arm is bent. As soon as my arm straightens, there's nothing to hold on to, and then I can just rotate, pummel to his armpit, his tricep. And now again, I'm looking into the side, shoulder to shoulder, rotating to that far hip. And now the finishing touches to get him to go down. I'm gonna step on his foot so his hips can no longer follow his chest, pulling him down in the turtle. Now again, those are enough details to get you started, but if you're interested in developing a well-rounded game on your feet and checking out a whole bunch of other details that stem from all of these positions and many more positions, literally any position you could possibly think of, Taking Down Giants, the easiest way to take down a bigger opponent, is out now. It is an entire course that it focuses on taking down bigger, stronger opponents. Since your jiu-jitsu game is designed to overcome bigger, stronger people, shouldn't your takedown game be the same? If you want to submit bigger, stronger people, that means you have to get them to the ground first. And if they're bigger and stronger, you have to have a takedown game that's designed around that, using leverage, timing, and technique to overcome size and strength advantages. But again, for now, this video is definitely enough to get you started. Any comments or questions, leave them in the comments below. This is Adam with Wrestling University, reminding you to always start standing.